All right, I think that's enough time to let everybody get settled in. Thank you all for waiting as I finished logging in. Really appreciate your patience. Let me start with some introductions here. My name is Brett McAllister. I'm the Director for Graduate Admissions for the Halmos College of Arts and Sciences here at Nova Southeastern University. I will be co-hosting this session along with my colleague, Ms. Farah Amro, who's one of our graduate admissions counselors, who I'm sure a lot of you have spoken with. Together, we will guide you through tonight's open house, and you'll also hear directly from our faculty leaders about both the master's and the doctoral programs. By the end of this session, you hopefully have a clear picture of what makes conflict studies at NSU so distinct. I'd also like to take a moment to make sure I recognize our new dean, Robin Cooper, who, fun fact, is also an alumni of the conflict department. So we're very happy to have her. Dr. Cooper is also a professor of the conflict resolution and ethnic studies and a highly regarded scholar in identity-based and cross-cultural conflict resolution. She's the recipient of multiple NSU external funding awards and serves in senior editorial roles, including a senior editor in the Qualitative Report. She also serves on the board of Peace and Justice Studies Association, and we're proud to have her leadership guiding us into the future of our college. Now, before we focus on conflict studies, I just want to share a little bit about NSU overall. NSU was founded in 1964 and today offers more than 180 programs across undergraduate, graduate, and professional levels. We're one of only two private universities in Florida with the R1 research designation, which is the highest classification for research activity in the United States. We're also proud to be a Hispanic serving institution and one of just 50 universities nationwide to hold the Carnegie Community Engagement classification. These recognitions highlight both our academic excellence and our commitment to community impact. Now, our campus is in Fort Lauderdale, Davie, just about 25 miles north of Miami. We also have the Oceanographic campus in Dania Beach, which is home to our renowned marine sciences programs. Beyond these, NSU operates educational centers in 7 major cities, plus international sites in the Bahamas, Jamaica, and Puerto Rico. So when you join NSU, you're part of a university that has both strong local presence and a global reach. Now, one of the things that sets NSU apart is our facilities. For example, is the Alvin Sherman Library is the largest library building in the state of Florida. It's 5 stories tall and about 325,000 square feet. Another highlight is the Don Taft University Center, which really serves as a hub of student life. It features a 4,500-seat arena, a state-of-the-art wellness and fitness center, performing arts spaces, and even our student lounge known as the Flight Deck. Now, all of these resources are available to you as a graduate student. Whether you need research support, wellness opportunities, or spaces for collaboration, this is where you'll find them. At NSU, we take pride in giving students access to the same caliber resources you'd expect from major research universities, but within a community that feels a lot more close-knit and supportive. Now, within NSU, you'll find the Halmos College of Arts and Sciences, which is where our department, Conflict Resolution Studies, is housed. Halmos brings together diverse disciplines, including biological sciences, humanities and politics, marine and environmental sciences, and more. This interdisciplinary environment creates opportunities for collaboration and new perspectives, which is especially valuable in a field like conflict resolution. The college offers a wide range of graduate degrees, as you can see here, from master's degrees in biological sciences, computational rhetoric, environmental sciences, and of course, most importantly for tonight, the conflict resolution, to doctoral degrees in areas such as computational rhetoric, which is brand new, conflict resolution, and then oceanography. But tonight, of course, our focus is going to be squarely on the master's and PhD programs in the conflict analysis and resolution. The Department of Conflict Resolution Studies, often called DCRS, is located in the Mailman Hollywood building on our main campus. We offer master's and doctoral programs all designed to give students the skills to analyze, prevent, and resolve conflicts in diverse contexts. What's unique about DCRS is its integration of theory, research, and practice, preparing graduates to step into leadership roles in the organization, communities, and beyond. Now, with all that overview in mind, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce I'd now introduce, like I said, Dr. Pushpa Iyer, who is the chair of the Department Conflict Resolution Studies. Dr. Iyer is an associate professor whose research and teaching span identity-based conflicts, peace building, and the role of non-state actors in South and Southeast Asia, Africa, and also here in the US. She also has led major diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives and founded the Center for Conflict Studies, where she launched innovative programs like the Summer Peace Building Program. We're honored to have her leadership in the department, and she'll now share more about the mission, the faculty, and the academic programs with you. Dr. Iyer, floor is yours.
Thank you, Brett. Thank you for that introduction as well, and welcome everyone who is here to learn more about the conflict resolution program here at Nova Southeastern. And particularly at Halmos College, which is where we are located. As Brett mentioned, it's a very big university with a lot of diversity of programs, and we take great pride in being part of that in Halmos, where we are really focusing here on the social sciences and particularly how to make the world a more peaceful place. Right. So what do we do with conflict resolution? We look at conflicts, we recognize them, and we learn how to analyze them. We are looking at both preventing and mitigating violence. We are bridging divides between communities, organizations, and nations. And we are also addressing those kinds of systemic challenges, the ones that are structural in nature and that require more perseverance, more time, and, require the kind of strategic problem-solving approaches. We promote peace building and society rebuilding. So what I'm listing off to here are the variety of and the types of activities and programs that our faculty are engaged in. And you're going to hear from two of our faculty coordinators, Dr. Duckworth and Dr. McKay, in a minute. But these are the kinds of things that we are really involved in terms of both our research, what we teach, the kinds of curriculum we bring to you. And we are hoping to attract more of you to join us in making this world a more beautiful place. As Dr. Duckworth and McKay will mention to you, courses are offered both in online formats and in-person formats, so you can make the choice. In terms of online courses, they are courses where we meet on Zoom. They are synchronous sessions, and they usually meet in an evening online class, usually scheduled from 6 to 9 p.m. in the evening, East Coast time. So depending on where you are, you can make that calculation. We also require that our student meet once a year for our residential institute program that happens in February. It's usually a weekend, starts on a Thursday evening and ends on a Sunday with lunch. This year it's scheduled for February 19th. This is a great opportunity for our students to come together and meet their peers, especially with their online students, to come and be able to meet everybody and meet faculty in person. And we also love to take this opportunity to make it something more, meaningful for all of you from beyond the regular classes that we have. These are required. And as the slide says, it happens in February. We try to foster community, just so that you all come together and get to know each other and do a variety of activities during that time, bringing in guest speakers and others. So this is one of our key highlight events. Right. So we do provide the opportunity for students to come together and to be part of what is working groups. We'd love for these working groups, some of which you see examples here, to be initiated by students who are most interested in doing additional research on a topic or a region that you're most passionate about. And so these are the groups that come together, meet, do various kinds of activities, bring in speakers, right? Do particular kinds of programs that meet that kind of gap that you're finding between what is happening in the classroom and what you really would like to do. Usually all of these working groups, not usually, all of these working groups will have a faculty advisor associated with that working group. Yeah, so to give the bigger picture, just of how we do this in the department is you're learning with faculty members who come with very varied multidisciplinary expertise. And there is a lot also of peer mentoring, especially being a PhD program. We have students who have been in the program for longer periods of time. So we really encourage a lot of peer mentoring happening within the program. You have plenty of opportunities to publish in which we support you, whether it's book chapters, academic journals, uh, writing in the kind of professional journals that are out there in our field, as well as blogs, some of which we run in our own department. And we are teaching you also how to apply, what you're learning with this conflict resolution program into your careers, whether they are your existing careers, because we do have many students who are coming to us with existing careers, some who want to pivot, others who want to stay on in those careers, and some who are not right now in a particular career path related to conflict resolution, but would like to in the future. So here are some various types of careers opportunities: being a mediator, an organizational consultant, or a government official, field research, and so much more, right? I mean, there are so many opportunities, of course, not to mention teaching as somebody who's coming out with an academic PhD program. Um, Yeah, another big highlight. So as you can see, I'm just going to give you the big broad headlights and leave the details of the programs to Dr. McKay and Dr. Duckworth. The Global Practicum is another program that we are always very excited about and very happy to share, is where our faculty lead practicums to a location that could be, anywhere in the world, basically. It could be anywhere in the US, outside of the US, in different places. Here you see examples of faculty programs that have been to different parts of the world. Last year we took a group of students to Geneva, and there was another group that went to Puerto Rico. So, and they all have, a particular focus that goes on this theme. So this is something that we know our students really value and enjoy as well, because what a great way to learn on the ground, immersive learning. And so these are some of the kinds of courses that we would we continue to be offering. If you were to come to this program, you can look forward to this. I'll stop here. Brett, would you like me to introduce, or? Yeah, I suppose so. All right, I want to introduce to you Dr. Cheryl Duckworth. Dr. Duckworth is one of the graduate academic coordinators in our program. She conducts global research and publishes extensively on peace education, peace economics, and the root causes of war and violence. Dr. Duckworth has led, programs on interfaith dialogue, youth-led peace projects, and conflict resolution training. She is passionate about, I know this from knowing her, and writes and speaks publicly on education's role in preventing extremism, which is often also known as peace education in our field. She has led a course to Morocco, as you can see over there, and contributes in the field through publication on dignity in social movements, peace education and detention centers, and 9/11 classrooms. I will also add over here that Dr. Duckworth runs a conference through our department every year. It's an annual conference, which is something that I would like to highlight as another opportunity for all of you who are thinking of coming to us. And she runs a journal as well, the Peace and Conflict Studies Journal. So it's an academic journal, another opportunity to publish. So over to you, Dr. Duckworth.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Dr. Ayer. I appreciate it. So a couple of the things that we'll talk about that we think are really beneficial to students have to do, one of which has to do with the cohort-based model. A cohort, of course, is a group of students that come in each fall, typically each fall. Our program operates this way. And they go through the program, the core courses of the program together. So what this results in is an incredible learning community for students. We really get to know you. You all get to know each other. One of the reasons that you come to grad school, of course, is to learn the theoretical tools, the skills of your field, but also to get to know other people in the field, to get to know the organizations in the field, the leaders in the field, who's hiring, how do they get to know you, right? So cohort models really are incredible for learning outcomes, but they're also very good for once you graduate and you're off on that job hunt because of the community that is built. It's just really supportive. So we're really pleased to be this to have this model here at DCRS. You'll complete a minimum of 30 credits. This is for the masters. You'll complete a field practicum. You'll complete the capstone project experiential course, which asks you to bring everything together and put it into practice. Very, very exciting. You're going to actually use your research, theory, and practice skills to design your own conflict resolution program, right? And you're going to do it. We're going to be right by your side as you do. And you do need to maintain a 3.0 GPA throughout the program. A little bit more about our curriculum. So full-time students are taking about 6 to 9 credits, right? 2 to 3 courses. And they would finish in about a year and a half to 2 years, right? Depending on your exact degree plan. Part-time students taking 3 credits a semester would complete in 3.5 to 4 years, right? If you're only taking one class at a time, right? Maximum enrollment time is 5 years, right, to complete the program. Summer attendance is mandatory, right? We do offer some summer programs, particularly the practicums that are offered, a summer institute that I believe we'll be hearing a little bit more about, executive pathways that we'll be hearing a little bit more about. So summer gives you some really interesting and very community-based experiential options as well. So here are some. I mentioned the capstone course, which is where we bring our master's students, bring theory, research, and practice together. Some examples of what students have done have related to conflict and crisis communication, conflict in healthcare systems, resolving conflicts as an organizational leader, strategic community planning, family conflict and violence, law enforcement collaboration, and public policy. Next, I'll introduce my colleague, Dr. Judith McKay. She directs the Community Resolution Services at NSU, offering conflict resolution programs, workshops, and community initiatives like Peace Place. She applies over 30 years of experience as a mediator, facilitator, and conflict coach across various civic, religious, and organizational settings. She's led trainings and presentations on crisis communication, organizational conflict, domestic violence, and leadership for diverse professional audiences. And I will also brag on the fact, although this isn't on the slide, that she has done work with local law enforcement on de-escalation training. She secures and manages federal grants related to justice and health. And oh, here we go. It is right here. Good. And facilitates law enforcement training through the DOJ. She also has conducted research and publishes on conflict coaching, organizational change, family violence, and community engagement in both academic and practical contexts. So you can see why she calls herself a pracademic. She definitely brings those worlds together, which I think is very exciting and enriching for students. So Dr. McKay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Duckworth, for that wonderful introduction. I'd like to talk for a moment about curriculum and looking at it from a doctoral program perspective. Basically, you're going to be completing a minimum of 69 credits. You will pass a preliminary review, which happens earlier in the program for you, so that both you and the department have the opportunity to look at what you've been doing since you've been in the program. Are there any challenges that we can assist with? All of your wonderful achievements. And it's actually a wonderful opportunity to kind of have a check-in. And so I'm always excited to help out with that. You will, of course, pass a qualifying exam. When you think of a PhD, think of 3 parts. The first part is all your courses. The second part is a qualifying exam, which qualifies you to go into the third part, which is your dissertation study. So of course, the qualifying exam is a part of that process. Then, of course, you're going to successfully defend your dissertation. You'll have two defenses in a dissertation. The first is the proposal for what you're proposing to study, and that requires a defense. Then you do your study when that has been approved. And then, of course, you will defend your final dissertation findings. And note that we say the word defend. It's not just a presentation, you're defending what you've been doing. And it's actually a real highlight for students in terms of their process through the program. And of course, you must maintain a 3.5 GPA throughout the program. So we expect our students to be scholars. And like Dr. Duckworth mentioned before, it isn't a cohort model. I would add that I was in a cohort model doing my PhD, and I found it to be very helpful because you got the opportunity to really get to know your colleagues because you were in the same classes with each other until you began to splinter off, to certain electives that different people chose. But it was really, I found, very helpful and wonderful for networking. So full-time students would take 6 to 9 credits a semester. And so they would complete their coursework part of it in about 2 to 2.5 years. Part-time students taking 3 credits a semester would complete their coursework in about 3.5 to 4 years. The maximum enrollment time is 7 years, so you have to kind of look at that as part of it is going to be your coursework, part of it is going to be your qualifying exam, and then, of course, doing your dissertation and successfully completing it. And so courses are offered year-round, but not every course is offered every semester. So we do have courses in the fall, in the winter, and in the summer, but not necessarily, each course is not offered every time the semester starts. And if you want to take 9 courses, 9 credits, you would have to get departmental approval. And so where can a degree in conflict resolution take me? Well, on the doctoral level, it can take you to a lot of places. Between social services, education, some people come in saying, I really want to ultimately teach conflict resolution on a variety of levels, including the graduate level. Healthcare, conflict in healthcare is a huge field. And so we cover that. We're fortunate also at the university that we have 2 medical colleges, government, nonprofit, and of course, military. Some of the students who come into our program are in fact either still in the military or they're coming up to their retirement and they're looking at their next step. And the roles are as an advanced practitioner, an educator, a consultant, a program evaluator, and an organizational administrator. So there's lots of things you can do with a PhD in conflict analysis and resolution. And so at this point, I'm happy to turn it back to Brett and his team, but I would be very happy, as all of us would, to answer any of your questions, either later this evening in this process or separately. You can always feel free to email or call us. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you all very much for going over the details of the programs as well. And I didn't also want to forget that on a good coincidence, or perhaps Dr. Iyer being a perfect position to recommend today as the day for the open house, it is actually Conflict Resolution Day, as I saw in an article today that I read. So I don't know, Dr. Iyer, if you meant to do that or not, but kudos to you on the timing. Very, very well done. So with that being said, I do want to introduce all of my team, not just Farah, who's in attendance tonight. So also you might have a chance to speak to if you're unable to get a hold of Farah, would be Miss Megan Troy. She managed the admissions for biological sciences and our medicinal chemistry master's degree. Also, we have with us is Mr. Theodore Uwe, who's one of the assistant directors. He manages the humanities and politics and marine and environmental sciences programs. Of course, we have Ms. Farah Amro, who in just a moment is gonna talk more about the actual admissions process with us. But she manages conflict resolution studies and communication media in the arts department. And also, last but not least, Mr. Andrew Gepner. He's the behind-the-scenes man who keeps the administrative tasks under control and serves as a general resource to all of our applicants and students. So if you ever were to call into our general line, you will most likely get Andrew, who would then either forward your phone call on to Miss Farah if she is available, or myself, or one of my other fantastic team members. Together, we're really here to support you guys. And for all those interested in conflict resolution studies, like as I mentioned, your main contact will be Farah, who's now going to walk you through all the admissions details, some deadlines, and your general next steps. Farah, it is your turn.
Thank you so much, Brett, and hello, everyone. It's very nice to be here with you tonight, even if it's just through a screen. Before I get into the admissions details, I just want to say how much I appreciate you joining us. I do recognize you in attendees. Some of you I already had a chance to connect with. It's wonderful we're able to attend tonight, and also some new names, which I'm looking forward to connect with in the future. My role now is to walk you through the admissions side of things, the deadlines, the requirements, how the review process works, tuition and aid, and a few tips for putting together a strong application. So this is kind of as your roadmap for getting started. And as you can see, my contact details are up on the screen. I welcome emails, phone calls, virtual or in-person meetings if you are local in South Florida. Whatever works best for you, please don't hesitate to reach out. So our next application intake for both the master's and the doctoral programs is fall of 2026 with an application deadline of July 17, 2026. We do recommend that you submit a little earlier if you can. It gives us time to process your materials, and especially for the PhD applicants, it also gives us time to schedule your admissions interview. Please keep in mind that our faculty review committee starts reviewing applications in November of each year. Now, as for what you will need to submit in order to apply, most of the requirements are the same for both the master's and the doctoral programs. For either program, you're going to have to, of course, complete an online application, pay the $50 fee, send in your official transcripts, upload a resume or a CV, and provide a writing sample. If English is not your first language, you will also need to submit proof of English proficiency. Now, where these two graduate applications differ is in the expectations. The master's program requires a minimum of 3.0 GPA, while the PhD program requires a 3.5 GPA. And if you are selected for the doctoral program, you're going to have to also complete an admissions interview. Before moving on, I would like to mention a few very important notes that usually help applicants when preparing their application. First, on your resume or your CV, it is strongly recommended that you list 3 references, with at least one being an academic reference. Second, if you've earned any degrees from colleges or universities outside of the US, you will need to reach out to a degree evaluation company. They will review your transcripts and send us an official evaluation report. We do this, and it's very important. A lot of applicants ask me if there's really a need for this, and we do it because it's fair to you. Because it helps us evaluate your credentials fairly and consistently with US standards. And if you are not sure where to start or need help with that process, please feel free to reach out to me, and I'll be happy to walk you through it. Third, your writing sample. It can be something you've already submitted for a grade or a publication, such as a research paper, a journal article, an editorial, or other professional piece. It should be between 2 to 5 pages long. If your original work is longer than 5 pages long, you can just submit a 2 to 5 page section that includes the introduction, the main body, and the conclusion of your main paper. And just a note, informal content such as local social media posts will not be accepted as a writing sample. Lastly, and because you joined us tonight, we are excited to share a small thank you, which is you're going to receive an application fee waiver code that allows you to submit your online application without paying the $50 fee. That code is going to be emailed to you in the next week. Now, if you've already submitted your application and paid the fee, unfortunately, we cannot issue refunds. But please know that we truly appreciate your early application and your understanding. Once you submit your application, you are going to unlock the admissions tab. A lot of applicants send me an email. They're like, I don't know where I'm going to upload my resume. I don't know where I'm going to upload my writing sample. You won't be able to see that admissions tab until you have actually submitted your online application and paid the fee. Also, on your online application, whatever email address you use is the one that we are going to use to send you updates about your file. So make sure to put an email address that you check regularly. Now, after all your materials are in and your file is complete, I will forward it to our faculty review committee. They usually take about 7 to 10 business days to review each application. Now, remember, they start reviewing applications in November. And if you are applying to the PhD program and you pass the initial review, we will then invite you to a virtual admissions interview. When you're admitted, whether to the master's or the doctoral program, we will walk you through the next steps, which are paying your seat deposit, which is $100. It goes towards your tuition, connecting with your graduate academic coordinators to set up your plan of study, and finally, let's take a quick look at tuition and funding. For the master's program, tuition is $860 per credit hour. With 30 credits required, that comes to about $26,000 total. For the PhD program, tuition is $1,228 per credit hour. For 69 credits, this works out to around $85,000 total. US students, of course, can apply for financial aid through FAFSA, which may include loans or work study opportunities. And our financial aid office is available to guide you through the process and help you explore your options. We also offer monthly payment plans. The Bursar's office can help you with that. These are available for both domestic and international students. Just be sure to contact the Bursar's office at least 2 weeks before classes begin to set that up. I would recommend contacting them even earlier. And finally, we do offer a couple of tuition discounts to our military personnel and to employees of the Broward County Sheriff's Office. Military personnel through the Military Affairs Academic Program get a 20% off, which also extends to their spouses and direct dependents. And employees of the Broward County Sheriff's Office get 30% off of their tuition. If you would like help with any of these payment plans or the discounts that I just mentioned, please feel free to reach out to me and I will give you more details and connect you with the right offices to get everything set up. At Halmos College, we offer 3 types of scholarships: institutional, college-wide, and department-specific. In order to apply, you're going to need to be enrolled full-time and already have an NSU GPA. In other words, you can only apply for these scholarships after completing your first semester here. It is important to keep in mind that these are partial scholarships. Even with one, most of your tuition will still be paid out of pocket. Unfortunately, we do not offer full funding for either the master's or the doctoral programs. There are also research assistantship opportunities, but these depend on the faculty that you're working with and whether they've secured grant funding or not. And these positions, if available, are competitive and not something that we can guarantee. If you'd like more details about scholarships or assistantships, just reach out to me personally, and I'll make sure to get the right information and contacts for you. And finally, be sure to follow us on social media to stay up to date on deadlines, student highlights, and department events. We really enjoy connecting with future students and the alumni online. We'll also be posting a recording of this virtual open house on our YouTube channel. So just search Halmos College of Arts and Sciences on YouTube, and you'll be able to find us. And that wraps up the presentation portion of our session. Thank you all so much again for spending part of your day with us. Now we want to hear from you. So please go ahead and drop your questions in the chat, and I'll pass things over to Brett, who will guide us through the Q&A session.
Thank you, Farah, and thanks again to all of our speakers tonight for such a thoughtful overview of the programs. It's really helpful to get to hear about exactly what's going on here at Halmos College, particularly with the different program curriculum. As Farah said, we did reserve about 15, 20-ish minutes. So for this is your chance to ask anything that's on your mind. Please type your questions into the chat. I will read them out and direct them to the right person, either on my team or faculty members that are with us this evening. Absolutely. And I believe we have our first question. Dr. McKay, this is going to be for you, or Dr. Iyer, either one of you can answer this. Can you please speak more to the structure and courses of the PhD program?
Well, I'll start off, and then Dr. Iyer, will probably want to jump in. But the structure of it is, again, it's a cohort model. And so a cohort model basically means that our students in the PhD program, as in the master's program, will begin in the fall term. We have once a year admissions, and they will be starting with specific core courses so that they will all be moving in lockstep initially. There will be those who are going full-time, and we may have some that are going, part-time, but they'll be lockstepping together which is really wonderful for networking, for, having study groups together, for working collaboratively, for, we always encourage students to apply for conferences, to present at conferences. I did that in my first semester as a doctoral student in a cohort model, and it made it so much easier because I knew everybody in my cohort because we were all in the same classes together. And so that really, helps out. So for the first few terms, you're going to predominantly be taking those required core classes, and then you're going to have opportunities for some electives, and that's where you will only be partially in a cohort for that because some of your comrades will be in those classes, but some will be choosing different electives, for that. So you'll have an opportunity to, take courses that are going to emphasize various aspects of the program, from theoretical perspectives, looking at how you work out in the community and in other places. We have practicums and internships. We have theoretical. So we've got so many other types of courses that I think you'll be really excited about. One of the reasons why we recently actually revised our curriculum was to reflect, what is going on in our field, because we don't want to just prepare you for what the field is now, right now. We want to prepare you for where the field is going so that by the time you're graduating, you will actually be very well prepared for the state of the field. Dr. Iyer, I don't know if you want to add something?
Yeah, I mean, Natalie, you have a follow-up question, so I thought I would just take that. In addition to everything Dr. McKay said, I think the most important thing for you to know is that we have just revised our curriculum and we are trying more of this, a program that aligns both the master's and the PhD program. So if you're thinking about structure, you're taking a set of core courses and required courses together with the master's students, but then you're also going to take a whole bunch of courses that are specific to the PhD program, so required courses for the PhD program. With regards to tracks, we don't have tracks anymore starting fall 2026, which is what you'll be applying for. So really, you're going to have to take these core courses, required courses, and then you branch off into the kinds of electives you want to take. So that could be mediation, negotiation, and the ones that you might be potentially interested in, but also a whole lot of other electives that you will have. The website will be updated very shortly. I hope that answers your question, Natalie. Okay, great. Can a doctoral program?
No, I'll just let y'all do it.
Okay, sorry, Brett. Can a doctoral program be completed via online? I don't know. Dr. Duckworth, do you want to take that one? It's from Aubrey.
Sure. Thanks for the question, Aubrey. So I think the best way to answer that question is mostly, right? Can be taken mostly online. One of the exceptions that comes immediately to my mind is the residential institute that we were speaking of, right? Where students come really from all over the country, all over the world, because we've got students in almost every time zone. So many of the classes that we offer are online. We do offer on-campus classes as well for students who want that option. But the residential institute is required for every student. And as Dr. Iyer said, it is in the middle of February each year. And a very, very exciting, intense, engaging, practical. It's going to feel very much like a conference in some ways, not necessarily with breakout rooms and sessions, but just a lot of growth and stimulation. So that would be a residential requirement. Otherwise, it should be mostly possible to take all of your courses online. Now, that doesn't mean that it's asynchronous. Right. That doesn't mean so there most of the classes have a set. So for example, I teach my foundations class tonight, right? We meet on Zoom every Thursday, right? So it's got a synchronous element and it's also got an asynchronous element. We meet from 7 to 9 and students answer a discussion board post, right? So there are synchronous elements, right? Because learning, being together in a learning community is where the good outcomes for students happen. So I hope that that answers your question.
Thank you very much, everyone. Next question is an academic reference still required if it's been many years since we have attended graduate school? And yes, essentially, yes, it is something that we encourage, you to reconnect with your faculty members, to rekindle that relationship. It is very important, as I know it's mentioned a couple of times, from a networking standpoint. That's really going to benefit you. So we highly encourage you, you have plenty of time between now, and the upcoming fall application deadline and everything to rekindle those relationships and get started working towards those. I don't know if any of the faculty want to chime in on that topic as well, but that would be our answer.
Yeah, I'll just add to what you said, Brett, to say that it really helps us to have that academic reference. So we really encourage you as much as possible to try. But if you can't, if there are reasons for this, do talk with both Brett and Farah and see, like what else could substitute for that, if at all, is what I would say at this time. If that sounds okay, Brett, because
Yes, absolutely. We do understand sometimes, look, you just haven't talked to your faculty in 15, 20 years, 10 years, 5 years. It's something, honestly, since I have been working with this department in my own role, I have started contacting previous faculty members that I had not spoken to in
mm,
10 years, 12 years for some of them, knowing that I would like to eventually go back and get my own PhD. So we do understand that there are scenarios where we try and help as best we can with things. But on the whole, yes, we really do like to get that academic reference because it can speak to, your character as a student in particular is very important. I hope that cleared that question up as well. I wasn't sure if we kind of answered that properly for you. But again, like I said, if you have, further questions that pop up about these topics, my staff is always happy to answer them for you at a later time. One question I do want to ask, because I know I do get asked this question a lot when I'm traveling, so this is kind of for our faculty members, and hopefully it'll help our attendees as well. What makes the conflict analysis resolution studies program at NSU, distinct from similar programs at other universities? We are obviously not the only one that has this degree, but it's a question that I know I get asked a lot when I'm speaking with students. Would you guys mind chiming in on that topic?
I can start, and then Dr. McKay definitely should say something. She's been here for a long time.
Mm.
And so will Dr. Duckworth. I'm sure we'll all have something to add to why, it makes our program a little bit unique. So from my perspective, I'm fairly new to NSU. I joined this department last year and the university last year. So I'm really new to this place. And one of the things that I was most excited about is the student body that we have. We are often called the non-traditional student body, department, in the sense that many of our students are coming in with existing careers. And so many of them have had the kind of experience that you need in a field like conflict resolution to then be able to apply what you're learning specifically to those kinds of situations. Even if you're not from the conflict resolution field or your career is not specific to that, it just makes it more exciting because then you have real cases to which you can apply the theories and the concepts and the frameworks that you're learning in a classroom to where it is. So I think you account for a really rich conversation in the classroom. And that I think is one of the most exciting parts. The others would be in terms of just the kind of instruction methods that we have, the online version of it, the ability to really bring people from varied backgrounds together on that one Zoom screen, and just make it so interesting for everyone to learn from each other. And I think our faculty do some very interesting work, both in terms of research, but also in terms of practice, right? And so all of that is going to come to the class. I think that's what makes, for me, this program really very, very interesting.
And I would be happy to jump in, Dr. Iyer, at this point. I think our program is really exceptionally unique because there are some programs out there that focus almost entirely on one slice of the field. So they may only be practice oriented, or they're only theoretically oriented, or they only want to deal with business issues, or they only want to deal with international issues. And we are kind of like in a multiple choice, we are E, all of the above, because basically we have faculty who specialize in different aspects of the field. You know, some of them have been working for years internationally in different areas, war zone areas, other types of, you know, peaceful reconstruction areas like that. Then we have people such as myself, who works and specializes predominantly in domestic US related types of issues, communities, family, regions, you know, organizational. And so we cover a whole array of that. And what's fascinating is a word that if you come into our program, you will hear a lot of, and it's called integration. So how do we basically integrate theory and substantive areas, research areas, and practice areas? And so we like to look at the integration of all of that and bring it together, which does make us somewhat unique. We're also unique because we have offered since the beginning of our program back in the 1990s. We do and always have included experiential learning. So we have always included internships, practicums, global practicums, things like that, so that you have the opportunity to also work in the field. And if you are a distance student studying online with us, that does not pose a problem because you can always find a practicum or internship site in your local area. And so that offers a world of opportunities for people. And also, you know, we do, as was mentioned previously, global practicums, and we have several, you know, coming up this year. Like this last academic year, we had it to Puerto Rico and also to Geneva, as Dr. Iyer pointed out. And so that makes us unique too. And we've had that since the beginning of our program, you know, back in the 1990s. So very exciting. I get excited about our program all the time. And I'm especially excited about the new launch that we're having for our new curriculum next fall for those of you that would be applying, because it is so up to date, it is so current. But as I mentioned earlier, it also goes beyond the current. It's looking at where is the field now, but where is it going? So that by the time you get out of, let's say, our doctoral program, you're fine. You're right up to where you should be with regards to the state of the world, the state of the program, and the state of the field. So I hope that answers your question.
If I may, I wanted to add just something else, and hopefully we've got just a few more minutes. In addition to everything that Dr. Iyer and Dr. McKay said, and one of the reasons that I applied to teach in this particular program, actually. Of course, when I was on the job market, I applied, you know, a number of places, was because of that emphasis on practice and community connections, right? Very, very proud to be a George Mason patriot, my alma mater. I loved their program, got a lot out of it, right? But if I could tweak, and I graduated a while ago, they may have done this, but that immersion in practice, I think, is so important. And I would add this. One of the things that our master students get out of capstone, or that our you know doctoral students get out of, you know, practicum and internship, is bringing those threads together, right? So they're not separated. You're not doing research over here and then practice here and then theory over there, right? Through this exciting new curriculum that I agree with Dr. McKay so much about, you're bringing those threads together, right? And the final thing that I would say is that if you look around, you may have noticed there are a lot of programs, certificates, maybe masters or you know, PhDs in, well, maybe not so much PhDs and quite yet, but masters and certificates or you know, degree programs in conflict resolution. There are still, for my taste anyway, I'd love to see one everywhere. There are still precious few departments of conflict resolution. That is what we do. Right? That is who we are. That is what we do. because it's what we're experts in and it's what we're passionate about. We're connected with the field. We present at those conferences, we publish in those journals. We know the organizations who do the work in the communities because we're a department of conflict resolution, right? That's not necessarily so easy yet. Hopefully that'll be, as common as English departments and math departments, but we're not there yet. So it really was exciting to me to find a dedicated department to teach in, and I think it'll be exciting for you as well.
Absolutely. I think you guys answered that absolutely perfectly. And not to just, kind of echo again, but I can speak to my own experience, when I am out visiting college campuses and talking to other students and in hearing about this. Dr. Duckworth is completely right in the fact that a lot of other schools that you might be interested in, they don't have their own department in this field. They are attached to a different department as a group. They don't have a dedicated staff that cares so much about this field of study. And it's a wonderful thing to have such a great faculty team working here at NSU. And it gets our staff excited to talk about the program. Obviously, that's why we run these open houses and get everybody, trying to get more interest and keep it going for this such important field. Um, so I can completely agree with what Dr. Duckworth just said. I do see it in other places. It's just not the same. It really isn't. That's not talking about anything negative about anybody else. It's having a dedicated staff is so important. But I do want to make sure that I'm cognizant of our faculty members' time as well as our attendees and our guests, because we are getting right towards that end line right there. So if you do have any other questions, please email my staff. We can connect you to the faculty if we can't answer it, but if we can, we will respond to you as soon as we see the email. I really appreciate everybody being here. Faculty members, thank you so much. For those of you that were not able to make it to the event tonight, we are recording this webinar. We will be posting and sending it out to everybody that was not able to attend directly. So again, thank you very much. Oh, I have one last question. I will answer Natalie's one last question. And then we do need to wrap up this evening, but are there any courses to teach how to discuss the different views of Democrats and Republicans specifically? That is a loaded question for the last one of the night. I'll let y'all take care of that.
May I? So what you're asking about, it sounds like to me, is political conflict, right? Political tribes, right? And sometimes that overlaps with, ethnic or racial tribes, which is a lot of what we also study. But it seems to me like you're asking about political conflict, maybe even escalating political violence. And so I can answer with a big, bold capital yes, absolutely. We look at case studies in the US, we look at case studies all over the world, because there are things that we here in the US can learn, maybe from Ireland or Colombia or places that like the US has in our past, right? We all know we had a civil war for several years. We've had social protests throughout our history. So this absolutely is an opportunity to think about that. Like why is this polarization happening, right? What kind of skills can we bring to de-escalation and to finding our way to analyzing? I think Dr. Ayer was so right when she said the number one thing you learn here is conflict analysis, right? So what is it that's actually going on here? What's driving this? And what can be done about it? Some of that's going to involve dialogue. Some of it's going to involve social change, right? Structural change. Yes. So in conclusion, I would say, and of course, always want to hear from others, that the answer to that question would be yes.
Awesome. Well, I think that was a perfect question to wrap up the night with because it was a loaded one. And I'm sure, like I said, if hopefully when you do enroll in our programs, you'll get to dive into that a lot more. So once again, faculty members, thank you for being here. Obviously, our guests, thank you so much for attending. For those of you that are watching this later on our YouTube channel and we're not able to attend live, we're always happy to have you at our next one coming up at some point in the springtime. So, keep your eyes out there for emails and contacts and calls from my staff. And with that, everyone, I hope you have a great night, a great weekend that you got coming up, and we will see you all on campus soon. Take care, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank you all.
Thank you.